Hey guys, Roman Reaper here. So, we are into October now, so of course that means one thing, spooky season. So, what better way to do it than, of course, yearly tradition, give you some good old horror reviews. So, I get a few little horror movie reviews sort of sprinkled throughout the month, to give you something to build you up to the big day at the end of the month. So, is it plenty of spooky little fun. So, the first of these horror reviews I will give you is Barbarian, which obviously made quite a splash on its debut last year. It came right out of nowhere, and everyone was praising it for how absolutely wild it is. And so, obviously, going into this, I have a certain level of expectation, but does it live up to the praise it's been receiving? Let's find out. So in the film, we see Tess Marshall. She arrives at an Airbnb in Detroit, 476 Barbary. When she arrives at this rental, however, she discovers that it's been double booked and she has to share it with a stranger named Keith. They spend the night together, gradually get to know each other after some awkward introductions. However, the morning after, Tess discovers that sharing the rental with Keith is the least of her worries when she discovers that the house and the neighborhood it resides in are not what they initially seem. So, yeah, I'd heard a lot about how this film goes absolutely wild and goes into some properly unpredictable directions. And I gotta say, I had, a certain level of expectation, completely nuts, off the rails horror. So I had certain expectations there, and even with those in mind, I gotta say, I was not prepared for how absolutely nuts this gets. Like, I had a blast watching it. What a fun film. For one, this is a extremely entertaining horror film with a really strong, eerie sense of atmosphere about it. Like, don't get me wrong, the spooky stuff, the stuff you're here for, it delivers in spades. It's plenty atmospheric, plenty creepy, plenty eerie, and from a technical perspective, obviously with horror, there's lots you can do on a limited budget, and yeah, they excel here. Once again, the sound design, the score, and the cinematography all come together really nicely. In fact, in the cinematography, there was like certain points where I was almost reminded of Sam Raimi with how certain shots are styled, like some like certain close-up shots. Like it's hard to explain. You kind of have to see it for yourself. Like I'm very much reminded of like certain close-up shots from Evil Dead 1 that and there's even a brilliantly done POV shot. Like so from a technical perspective, yeah, it's damn near perfect and perfectly excels in building an atmosphere and making everything feel creepy to the max. And it also helps as well that we have a very unique sort of horror monster. I don't want to give it away for those that haven't seen it, but yeah, the film's like big villain here is certainly unique, and and with how unpredictable this villain is, it certainly lends itself to some like real unpredictable scares. And it also helps as well. We have some really fun, brutal kills. There's some real gnarly moments here. Like, like we have heads being split in half, people being bashed against walls, and even a guy gets beat to death by his own arm. Like, it's absolutely nuts. But it's not just the horror stuff that the film does so well. Like, beneath the surface, we have some real fun character work here. And in fact, it's laced in with some real fun like moments of like witty humor. Like for instance, I enjoyed the very awkward early scenes between Tess and Keith. There's a certain humor to the awkwardness of those scenes, but I also enjoyed their dynamic, seeing them sort of get to know each other and get comfortable in each other's company. It's a very fun little dynamic, and I did get invested in the characters. So when shit inevitably does hit the fan, it really catches you off guard, and you worry for the characters. It helps as well that the performances from Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård as Tess and Keith are really good. They both sell the charm of their early scenes, but then also sell the panic and fear of once the horror actually kicks in. They're very good. Also, really good is Justin Long as AJ, a TV star who is, being investigated for allegations of sexual misconduct, and I really liked his character. He is really funny. And then and then again, once he is thrown into the deep end, he sells the fear really well. He's really good. In fact, he's probably the standout of the film. I enjoyed his character a lot. But beneath all of that, I also really enjoyed like the message, sort of exploring like masculinity in a way. Like, we've got positive and like toxic masculinity, Keith, you think is going to be a complete weirdo, but actually turns out to be a fairly sound dude with a pretty good moral standing. And then in contrast, we have AJ, who is an alleged rapist. So it's very nice, sort of interesting, sort of exploring that little contrast, and it makes for a pretty interesting little dramatic through line there. But beneath, obviously, above the messaging, the social commentary, and the character work. It's just, good old traditional, old school splatter horror fun. And yeah, there are twists here aplenty, and it goes absolutely wild. Each new twist revealing something new about this house that, flips everything you already knew on its head and just takes it to a completely insane new direction. And god damn it, as I said, I was not prepared for the direction they actually went in. It is nuts. Obviously, it's not a perfect film. I will admit it does start off a little bit slow. Like, obviously the charm of Keith and Tessa's dynamic does somewhat carry those slow early scenes, but it does take a bit to sort of find its footing. And I I will admit it does end a little abruptly as well. Like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't feel like, an out of place ending or anything. In fact, it feels perfectly in line with how insane the rest of the film is, but it does feel like it ends slightly abruptly. I would maybe like a few more minutes, just to get to like a proper conclusion. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Barbarian. It absolutely deserves all the praise it's been getting. It's a very fun, just old school, insane, left field, gory horror film with some good character work and some neat little commentary as well, and a little bit of wit with its humor. It's a very fun time. If you haven't seen it, definitely get on it. You will be thoroughly surprised. And overall, Barbarian, I am going to give it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Barbarian? What did you think of it? And what did you make of that twist? In fact, what did you make of all the twists? Because there's multiple of them. Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. Don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload. And I'll see you for more spooky reviews.